A WWE Champion is injured and could be missing SummerSlam. Plus, multiple Raw stars were written off TV, and a huge title match has been added to SummerSlam. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Thoughts and best wishes to Kevin Owens, who has been in the wars. Now, what we saw on Raw last night, whilst it was a wrestling storyline, is rooted in reality. He's not well.
He's not well, is he? This first come to us from Kermit125 on Reddit, apparently.
Now, Kermit, it's as daft as it sounds. Hi-ho, everyone. As daft as it sounds. Don't know who that was.
I'm Dr. Nick.
Hi, everybody. It's Kermit125 is one of these insiders within the company.
Like the old Falcon from back in the day. Was that what he was called?
The Falcon?
There was someone on Reddit who used to predict things before Raw went on the end. It would happen. He would go, ha-ha, I'm the Falcon.
Oh.
I forget, it might not be a Falcon.
Fly away. If you were the Falcon, let us know.
Let us know the actual name. You know, about 2015-16 sort of time.
So Reddit insider Kermit first reported that Kevin Owens is legitimately hurt and is suffering from broken ribs. Now, this led to his attack on Raw last night and Sami Zayn going it alone. Don't know the recovery time, but they reckon with broken ribs, it's about 6 weeks with a good wind, which means he's definitely missing SummerSlam.
Yep, and the tag team title surely won't be on SummerSlam unless it works some sort of angle where Sami Zayn gets a tag team partner. And how can they coexist? Or something like that. It writes itself. But I hope they just don't do that. I hope they just have the tag team titles not on the show.
Well, they haven't officially set a title match for SummerSlam. But you had to believe it was heading towards them and maybe the Judgment Day, maybe. So, I don't know, maybe for the sake of getting over the line for SummerSlam, you draft in Matt Riddle.
Ooh.
Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle.
But Matt Riddle always loses when he tags with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Think about the Bloodline match with Puerto Rico.
All the more tension.
Oh, no, yeah. But it's a sad time for tag team wrestling in the WWE. Obviously pretty deadly. Elton Prince going down with a shoulder injury on SmackDown a week or two ago. And now Kevin Owens is down as well. What a shame, eh?
And the story is pretty grim in the women's tag division as well. So we saw Raquel Rodriguez get taken out last week. Liv Morgan on Raw last night saying that Raquel suffered a serious knee injury and is going to be back when she's fully recovered. Later that night, Liv Morgan was set to face Rhea Ripley, but before the match even started, Ripley attacked Liv Morgan.
Mammy trapped Liv's arm in a chair and went, hoo-ha! Stomped on the arm, broke it in several pieces. I'm going to sneeze.
I believe there is a generation that would call it a pillmanizing. Well, good pillmanizing, mother. Good morning, mother.
Up the mother.
Up the mother. And now this again looked like a wrestling storyline, but once again rooted in reality. Back we go to Kermit125 and Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer, who both say that Liv has suffered a legitimate dislocated shoulder. Now this is the thing with this is she's not long come back from a similar injury.
Yeah. And I go back to watching Money in the Bank and looking at those, because I remember the injury happening and then her coming back, the tag team title match with Ronda and Shayna happening quite quickly off the bat. The arm drags that Ronda was doing, I was like, oof, they're testing that shoulder already. And now I'm not saying that that's obviously why this has happened, but I'm just saying it was just weird to see that happen so early in the return from Liv Morgan. The shoulder throws, Tom.
Well,
you know what I mean? Ha-ha!
Well, it's one of the things I've heard numerous accounts of wrestlers doing that when they've had an injury,
just to test the waters.
With it, like we had Liam Slater on Desert Island Graps, former North champion Liam Slater, and he suffered a concussion, and when he fully recovered from it, like he said, I need to get over the hump of being nervous about doing moves, so he got someone just to keep powerbombing him in training. You know, another guy who I knew broke his jaw, and during training, once it was healed, right, just keep hitting me with clotheslines, because I need to make sure that it's all better.
Sounds like it's something you go down to London to pay for.
It does sound
a big,
like
strong lady to do to you. You know what I mean, Tom? You know
Good
what I mean?
morning, mother.
Up the mother.
But yeah, so maybe a bit of that was what was going on there. Best wishes to Raquel Rodriguez, to Liv Morgan, and to Kevin Owens.
I'll tell you what, though, with the Liv Morgan one, it looked like she was going to get the title shot at SummerSlam after the losing of the tag team titles last week. She then confronted Rhea Ripley towards the end of the show, obviously doing stuff with Rhea again this week. What does that mean for Rhea for SummerSlam?
Oh, I don't know. And they've still got about a week and a bit to bring something together and multiple, because the thing is, Judgment Day are so wonderfully featured on NXT and SmackDown as well as Raw. You could put something together.
You could have someone from NXT have a star-making performance on SummerSlam.
Well, you're going to get that tonight. Ripley's fighting Lyra Valkyria on NXT tonight. So
she's got to prove she's not a little bitch as Lyra. Because Rhea picked her up a couple of weeks ago, and then Lyra wasn't very hard, and then Rhea was like, have I just misspoken there, calling you hard? And I was like, no, you haven't. Let's have a fight.
Let's have a fight. And that's what they're doing tonight, so that should be a fun thing. saying. What Rhea will do with the women's world title at SummerSlam, who knows at this point. We do know what's happening with the men's Intercontinental title, though, don't we?
It's Gunther versus Drew McIntyre, everybody. There was a big confrontation last night, and after that confrontation, many tits will be slapped.
There was a lot of tit slappage and an announce table getting destroyed in the process, as well as Drew McIntyre will challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. Lots was said about Drew's departure from WWE for a brief period where the conversation was the money needs to be right and the creative needs to be right. I think, having a banger of a match with Gunther at SummerSlam is pretty good creative.
This is the most Jeopardy Gunther's title's been in so far, I would argue.
I think you might be right, actually.
When did he pass? Has he passed the Honky Tonk Man's record yet? Is that
no, yeah, the honkometer's not quite full yet. So we're keeping tabs on that one. A few other matches were added to the biggest party of the summer, weren't they, Ross, last night?
They were. What else was added? Logan Paul attacked Ricochet from behind and then promised to squash his big bald head. Paul accepted Ricochet's SummerSlam challenge. Ricky was able to repel Logan Paul soon afterwards. Just like that.
That's exactly what he did.
And then Shayna Baszler challenged Ronda Rousey to not a match, but a fight at SummerSlam, which obviously gets the juices titillating inside the mind for a little fight pit action potentially.
Yeah, that's
or maybe just in the parking lot, a good old parking lot brawl.
Oh, it was the one that they used to do, the Iron Circle match.
Iron Circle, yeah.
Oh, I haven't talked about an Iron Circle match in ages.
A scoop slam on a car bonnet.
Oh, I remember Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock one. I remember an Eddie Guerrero one.
And WCW put it on steroids with Finlay in the actual, the
Junkyard.
That was it,
the Junkyard Invitational. Oh, what a hot... 12 wrestlers got injured and nobody saw it because it was all cameras on helicopters rented from local radio stations.
At night time.
At night time. It's just a hot mess, that is. Oh, but maybe one of them. I think we'll get to that. I don't think we'll get a fight pit at SummerSlam. I think we'll get what we had at the Mexico City Live event, which is Ripley and Ronda and Shayna ripping shreds off one another. Match being thrown out. Let's do it proper in a few weeks' time.
At Extreme Rules. Plus, you would think with I guess it's still heavily rumoured gimmick match between Lesnar and Cody, you wouldn't want two gimmick matches on the same card potentially.
You don't want too many gimmick matches. It spoils the broth.
The gimmicks.
Now, the rest of the SummerSlam looks like this. The aforementioned Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar match. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight title. Asuka defending the WWE Women's title against Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. And Tribal Combat for not just the undisputed Universal title, but for the title of Tribal Chief. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso.
Oh, God. What match if they did it? They're cowards. They won't do it, but imagine if they did it.
Do you remember Black Panther, the movie Black Panther?
Tom, speaking to a guy who doesn't watch movies.
Oh, because they did a thing in Black Panther when to become the leader, you had this battle in a waterfall, surrounded by people banging shields and stuff. I know the match will take place in the ring, but what makes me sad is, had this been the pandemic era, we probably would have had a battle in a waterfall, a la Black Panther.
Moana pops up.
And The Rock turns up.
Interference helps Roman win. You're welcome.
You're welcome. SummerSlam would be so much better if Ross and I wrote itself. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Up the mother.
Up the mother indeed, everybody, on this Tuesday morning. Up the mother.